Hi, I'm Yvette Lenhart, and I want to welcome you to my YouTube channel. This is my very first YouTube video. Yay! And by the way, this is Jasper, and I think, and this is Daisy. Anyway, I'm going to run you through a quick Pilates mat sequence today. We're going to do a bent leg to straight leg, one leg to two leg progression series. We're going to do a little extension work, get back onto your back, do a little rotation, and then we'll finish up. So thanks again for joining me, and let's get started. So the first thing we're gonna do is get down on your mat, lay yourself down, and you can go ahead and stretch your legs out and just stretch your arms back behind you. So kind of like the first stretch of the morning, just feel your body lengthen nice and long. You can point your toes, you can wiggle them, you can roll your wrists around, turn your head left and right. Maybe just turn your hips side to side. And just bring your arms down by your sides. So just take a second to let your body feel nice and heavy on the mat. Just notice where you might feel any tension, any resistance, anything a little sore. Have you been sitting all day? Right? Just send your breath to that place and just let it release. Let your shoulders release away from the mat. This is the most common place a lot of us hold tension. So really see if you can send your breath into your shoulders and just let them release. So you don't actually have to use any muscles to pull them back to the mat. You're just letting them release wide. So right here, we're gonna start with a trunk curl. So we're just gonna start getting the abdominals warmed up. Take a big inhale, pull your belly in toward your spine, and on your exhale, I want you to curl up your head, neck, shoulders. Float your hands just off the mat, and we're gonna hold right here. So I want you to feel your shoulders relaxing away from your ears. Just see if you can turn your head around a little bit left and right. So make sure your neck isn't trying to do this work, your shoulders aren't trying to lift you, right? You're squeezing ribs to hips. And then bring everything down. Good. Let's do that again. So take an inhale, and then curl up, head, neck, shoulders. Now, if you're starting to feel anything uncomfortable in your lower back here, you can absolutely bend your knees, bring your feet flat to the mat. You'll notice that gives you a little bit more support. If you feel anything uncomfortable in your neck, like if you feel your neck is trying to do the work of holding up, then just bring your fingertips to the base of your head, right? But just make sure you don't try to start using your arms to hold yourself up, right? They're there just to support your neck. You still want to let those abdominals do that work of lifting you. And then bring everything down. Let's do that one more time. So take an inhale, curl up your head, neck, shoulders. So right here, we're just gonna practice breathing. So that's gonna sound really funny, but when you're so used to using your belly to hold yourself in this position when it's disengaged, sometimes you wanna hold your breath. That's kind of the default thing. So I want you to get used to breathing here with the belly disengaged. So see if you can start sending your breath into your rib cage. So if you can see your belly, have a look at it. See if you can keep it flat. So rather than letting it pop up and down like we do in everyday life or in yoga, so I want you to keep your belly tight and let your breath move your ribs. So if it's helpful, you can even bring your hands here and see if you can move your ribs. Inhale, exhale. One more time, inhale, exhale, and then bring everything down. Awesome, good. Let's just bring those feet flat to the mat. Press your hips up, take a quick bridge, and then bring everything down. Okay, so now we're gonna move into our first ab series. So we're gonna start with those legs in tabletop. So knees right over the hips, lower leg parallel to the floor. So right here, you might want to work with your head down for this entire series. If you happen to have a block or a little pillow, you can put it under your head for support. That's absolutely fine. You can keep your arms down, palms face down. Option 2, if you want a little more challenge, you might want to go back into that trunk curl we did right in the warm-up by lifting up your head, neck, shoulders. So you can stretch your arms straight out in front of you, or again, if you like that support for your neck, just bring your fingertips to the base of your skull right here, trying to keep your shoulders relaxed and elbows wide. So we're gonna start by just stretching out one leg at a time. So pull your belly in nice and tight, stretch that right leg out. Now, I want you to take a second to find the angle that works for you. So you might notice when the leg goes higher, you're gonna feel more support in your lower back. It's gonna be a little easier. As the leg goes lower, notice how the lower back needs more support, belly works harder. So find the angle that works for your body. Bring it back. Again, stretch your left leg out. And hold right there. Again, play with that angle. See what works for you, what works for your body. And then bring it back. We're gonna continue right there, one leg at a time. Stretch the right leg, bring it back. Stretch the left. Now as you move, you might notice you start getting tired. And you might notice your gaze wants to shift up to the ceiling and you're gonna feel a lot of strain in your neck. If that happens, just lower your head, right? Take a few breaths right there and bring your head back up when and if you can. If you need to keep your head down, that's fine too. So let's start moving into it, alternating legs. Switch, switch. Don't forget, higher, a little easier on the lower back. More challenge, start bringing those legs lower. Switch. Maybe you can squeeze ribs to hips, come up a little higher. Maybe you can go a little faster. Switch, switch, switch. Good, let's go for 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring your knees in, take a rest. All right, so before we start going into straight legs, let's do a quick leg stretch. So you are welcome to grab a hold of a towel. I'm gonna use a strap, or you can just grab onto your leg. All of that works. If you have a belt or a strap or a towel, hook it under your right foot, right in the middle of your leg, and just feel that thigh bone sink down into your hip socket. So we're just trying to access the hamstring, the back of the leg. I also want you to feel the back of the knee open up. You are welcome to keep your head down. If you want to lift your head, go for it. Just make sure you don't lose your neck between your shoulders, right? Relax those shoulders. And then bend that knee for a moment. Stretch that leg back up again. Maybe you want to move your towel or your strap a little higher up on your foot. So bring it under the ball of your foot, not your toes, because that could cause cramping. So just bring it under the ball of your foot, so that way you can really flex your foot. Think of the heel going higher than the toes. You might want to articulate through the foot by pointing and flexing. That feels good too. And then bring it down. Let's go ahead, switch sides. So again, if you're using that towel, the strap, bring it in the center of your foot, right under your arch. You can keep that opposite leg bent. If your body allows and you want to stretch it out, that's an option too. So oftentimes you'll know, because if your lower back, when that leg is straight, starts pulling off the mat and feels strained, then you just might want to keep a little bend in that opposite leg. So right here, you can go ahead and lift up the head. Relax the shoulders. Bend the knee, slide that strap a little higher up. Maybe try flexing that foot. Imagine to get the heel higher than the toes. You might want to articulate through the foot, point and flex. Maybe just hold right there, feel that. That's pretty intense. Take a breath into it. I like to call this stretch the hurt so good stretch. And then bend it in. All right. So, let's move into that straight leg. So we're gonna start again in tabletop. Same options as before. You can keep your head down. You can get ahead and curl up your head, up to you. Don't forget, you can always bring your hands to the base of your skull. So right here, we're gonna start with that straight leg stretch. Now from there, we're gonna lift that leg all the way up to the ceiling. And then you're gonna keep that leg straight, lower it all the way down, and then bend it in. Good, stretch the leg out. Lift it all the way up, as high as you can. And then bring it all the way down and bend it in. So as we continue, I want you to really try to use control. I don't want you to think of this as a kick and a drop, right? So think of this as a stretch. You're stretching that leg out as long as you can. You're lifting it with control. And then as you lower it, resist gravity, resist, resist, resist. Bring it in. Let's do one more time each side. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale, down. One more time. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, lift. Inhale, lower. Exhale in. And bring it down. Awesome. All right. Now, moving into fully straight legs, we're gonna go into our scissor. So let's stretch those legs straight up to the ceiling. Once again, your head can be down, your head can lift. Totally up to you and how you're feeling. So here's option one. We're gonna grab a hold of the back of that right leg with both hands. Now don't grab your leg too high that you start losing your neck, right? You see what's happening here? So I want you to make sure your shoulders are down away from your ears. Let that left leg float out in front of you. Again, the angle,
totally up to you and your body. You might work right here. Some of you might have a nice big open L. Really depends. So let's go ahead, switch sides. And then continue. Switch. So option 1, holding on the legs. This is a great way to support your abdominals and really help keep your pelvis nice and still so that your hips aren't rocking side to side. So if you're working right here, great. Still using your abdominals to hold up your head, neck, and shoulders if your head is lifted. If you want a little more challenge, let go. See what happens. See how the abdominals take over and they do much more work. Switch, switch. Good, let's take 4 more. 3, 2, 1. Bring it in. Awesome. We're gonna take a quick bridge. Press your hips up. Just let those hips open up. Feel that stretch down your thighs, out through your knees. Make sure your knees are tracking right over your toes, so you don't want your feet turned out or turned in. And then bring it down. So now we're gonna go back into that same ab series, but with 2 legs. So what you're gonna notice with double weight load, your lower back is gonna wanna start pulling off the mat and your hips are gonna wanna rock forward, right? So as you go through, try to keep the space between your lower back and the mat consistent, which is gonna require a little bit more ab work. But that's what I want you to keep in mind as we go through. So again, we're gonna start with bent knees. This time, I want you to think of opening your knees maybe somewhere between hip and shoulder width. Don't open them too wide, so have them be in about the profile of your body. And we're gonna go ahead and flex the feet and touch the heels. So the feet look like this. What we call is that's called a Pilates stance. So the main reason for that is when your heels are touching, it just helps organize your lower body so that when the legs move, they don't wanna start doing their own thing, right? It just helps them move together. So once again, you can keep your head down. A nice little adjustment if you feel any lower back pain or if you have any lower back issues, you might just wanna make a triangle with your hands, tuck it underneath your tailbone, and that often will give you a little bit more lower back support. So try that option if you like it. Otherwise, you can keep your hands down, or once again, you can start lifting head, neck, shoulders. So arms can stretch, hands can be behind your head. Any option that works for you works for me. So right here, pull the belly in nice and tight, take an inhale, stretch those legs out, squeeze your inner thighs together, and then exhale, bring the knees in. So again, with 2 legs, what you're gonna notice is all of a sudden your lower back is gonna wanna pull off the mat, and it's gonna wanna lower down when the knees come in. So if that starts to happen, your legs might be too low. Maybe the legs go higher, right? The angle is up to you. Maybe you can draw your belly in even more. Inhale, stretch. Exhale. Maybe see what it feels like when the legs go 2 inches lower. Good, let's take 2 more. Inhale, stretch. Exhale. 1 more time. Inhale, stretch. Exhale. And take a quick rest. Okay, so now we're gonna start going into that straight leg progression. Once again, we're gonna stretch the legs out, lift them straight, lower them straight, bend them in. Don't worry, I got you, you can follow me. So head can be down or lifted, again, up to you. We're gonna take an inhale, stretch those legs out. Exhale to lift, right here, lift, lift, lift. Take a pause, inhale to lower, 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 and then exhale in. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, lift, take your time. Inhale to lower, 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 exhale in. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, lift, lift, lift. Inhale to lower, 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 exhale in. 1 more time, guys. Inhale, stretch. Exhale, lift, all the way up, all the way up. Keep your legs nice and straight, lower, lower, and then bring the knees in and take another quick rest. All right, last part, we're gonna go to that full double straight leg stretch. So stretch your legs straight up to the ceiling. Once again, you're welcome to bring your hands under your tailbone, hands can stay down. You can also turn out your legs a little bit here, so if you like that version with the external rotation, awesome. Just let your heels touch. So I want you to get your legs as straight as you can. If your legs have a little bend in them, that's absolutely okay, but just think of keeping them as straight as your own body allows. So right here, take a big inhale, lift up your head if you choose, and start letting those legs pull out in front of you. Imagine that they're rubber bands and they're being pulled longer, longer, longer. Find that little pause and then exhale, lift, lift, lift. So I want you to listen to your body. Your body will tell you when to stop. When you feel your lower back start to strain, that's it. And then exhale, lift, lift, lift. Again, inhale to lower. Stop. Exhale, lift, lift. Let's do 2 more, guys. Inhale, lower, lower, lower. Find that pause. Exhale, lift, lift, lift. Last 1. Inhale, lower, lower, lower. Find that little pause. Maybe you can lower 1 more inch. Exhale, lift, 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 and bring it down. Let's take another bridge. Bring those feet flat to the mat. Press your hips up. And then go ahead, bring your hips down.
Okay, so now we're gonna get down onto our belly. We're gonna do some extension work, which is gonna feel good because we can stretch the spine in the other direction. So come down onto your belly. Stretch out your legs and bring your arms back behind you with your palms facing up. So you can rest your forehead or either side of your face on the mat, whichever feels good. So just take a quick second to focus on where your feet are. Remember the distance between your legs is up to you. So as you go through, if you start feeling any gripping or anything uncomfortable in your lower back, you can open your legs a little wider. If you want a little more challenge, just bring your legs a little closer today, see how that feels. But try to keep your feet down for the moment. So right here, I want you to switch your focus again to your belly button. So start drawing your belly button up and away from the mat. Feel your hips grounded. Take an inhale. And then start lifting up your chest and press your palms toward the ceiling. So feel your legs heavy. Feel your feet grounded to the floor. Shoulders pulling back away from your ears and palms pressing up toward the ceiling. If you want a little more stretch, you are welcome to interlace your fingers behind you. Squeeze your shoulder blades together, lift your chest a little bit more. You might even want to press your palms together, lift your arms a little higher, take a big inhale, exhale, release your hands, and lower down. All right, let's do that again. Take a big inhale, lift your chest, lift your arms. So be really careful that you're not trying to lift higher by lifting your chin, right? You'll see or you'll feel the back of your neck collapse. So I want you to keep your chin down, the back of your neck long. Feel the lift coming from your chest, from your rib cage. So keep your chest lifted, keep your feet grounded. We're just gonna move the arms. So I want you to tap your fingertips to the floor and then lift your arms. Tap and lift, tap. Good, let's take 4, 3, 2, one more time. Hold the arms up and just give me a little pulse. Up, 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 up. Go for 4, 3, 2, 1, and bring it down. All right, adding on. So take a big inhale. Go ahead, lift your chest, lift your arms. So this time we're gonna keep the arms still, keep the chest lifted. We're just gonna move one leg at a time. So I want you to go ahead, float one leg up and bring it down. Float the other leg, bring it down. So as you move the legs, try to limit the movement in your pelvis, right? You're gonna notice the weight is gonna wanna shift from side to side, right? It's gonna start wanting to move your spine around, your shoulders. But see if you can keep those hips grounded. Keep those legs as straight as you can. Keep pressing your palms toward the ceiling. Let's do one more each side. Lift, and then lower it down. Good, let's give that lower back a quick rest. Bend your knees and just sway your legs side to side. All right, go ahead, bring those legs down. Okay, so now we're gonna start going into double leg series. So take an inhale, go ahead, lift your chest, press those palms back up to the ceiling again.
So again, you're gonna keep your chest lifted. We're gonna start moving 2 legs. So float both legs up and then bring them down. Both legs lift and bring them down. So you're gonna notice that it's gonna feel a lot easier to just bend your knees to do this, right? But if you can, I want you to think of lifting from the back of your thighs. Can you get your knees off the mat? Lift. Good, let's do 2 more. Lift. 1 more time, lift, and bring everything down. All right, guys, last part. Take a big inhale, lift your chest, lift those arms, lift both legs. All right, so we're gonna go back into that arm we did just a moment ago. Lower and lift. Now, I want you to keep this going. I'm gonna give you a little coordination challenge. As the arms move, I want you to flutter kick the legs. So this is where your brain is gonna short circuit a little bit because the arms have to work together and the legs are working in opposition. So try to keep those hips grounded, try to keep your shoulders away from your ears. Arms nice and long, legs nice and straight. Let's go for 4, 3, 2. Now hold those arms up, kick those legs, pulse it. Up, 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 up. 4, 3, 2, and release. Good. Push into your hands. Open your knees nice and wide. And take a child's pose. Sit your hips all the way back. And just take a few breaths right here. So next, we'll get back onto our back and we'll go into our final ab series.
Okay, so now we're gonna get back onto the mat. We're gonna finish up with another ab series and we're gonna add some rotation. So go ahead, bring yourself back to your mat. Bring those legs back to tabletop. So I want you to set up your hands in any variation of this. So this doesn't always work for everybody's shoulders. If you prefer bringing your hands to your temples, to your forehead, or just across your chest, just take a second to see what feels best for you. So, shoulders are relaxed. I want you to think of keeping this space between your shoulders, your shoulder girdle, nice and wide. As you go through, the tendency for twisting is to let that space collapse, and I see this all the time, right? So I want you to try to keep that space open wherever your hands are at. So again, legs are in tabletop. I want you to go ahead, stretch your left leg out. Angle is up to you, doesn't have to be low. And take a twist up and toward that right hip. So be careful of just moving your elbow, right? I see this a lot too. That's not really rotating the spine. I want you to think of moving the rib cage around the spine, keeping your chest open. Now go ahead, switch sides. Try to keep the right side of your seat down. Try not to let your butt roll, right? And then switch. Good. Maybe you can start lifting your shoulders a little higher off the mat. Switch. Elbows open. Shoulders wide. Switch. Good. Now let's just go into our crisscross. Switch. Switch. Your pace is up to you, but I want you to try to keep this part of your body nice and still, just moving waist and above. Let's take 4 more. 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Okay. So now we're gonna have a little fun. Let's come back to the tabletop. Let's go ahead, curl it on up. Stretch out your left leg and take that twist back over to the right. So I want you to stay in your twist. Your chest is pulling toward that right hip. Don't change anything in your upper body, just change your legs. Switch. So all of a sudden you're gonna notice this feels weird. It's not just you, right? But as your body is feeling uncomfortable, it's making adjustments. It's getting stronger. Keep your right leg out and twist the other way. Now that feels better, right? Let's make you uncomfortable again. Switch legs. Okay, let those abdominals make adjustments. Now keep that left leg out and twist right. That feels better. Go ahead, switch your legs. Twist. Hold there for a minute. Feel that. Keep that right leg out. Twist left. Now one more time. We're gonna stay right there. Change your legs. Hold there. Bring the legs back to tabletop and lower down. Good. All right.
So now we're just gonna start moving into double legs. So we're gonna do a progression again. So set up your hands wherever you were just working. Bring those legs back to tabletop. Stretch out your left leg. Take a twist, back up and over to that right thigh. Here we are again. So this time, I want you to keep both hips still. Just go ahead, stretch out your right leg. Pull, pull, pull. Feel that. Feel both legs out in front of you in this twist. Bring both knees in and lower your head. Stretch out your right leg. Take that twist to the left. Good. Hold right there. Stretch that left leg out. Feel both legs out in front of you. Keep the right hip down. Bring both knees in and lower down. All right, so now we're gonna start moving two legs. So I want you to take an inhale, stretch out those legs and take that twist. Good, hold, 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 hold. Bring the knees in, lower your head. Stretch both legs out, take that twist left, pull. And bring both knees in. Now if you want a little more challenge, you're gonna stretch both legs out, you're gonna take that twist. You're not gonna lower your head, you're just gonna bring the knees in. And then stretch the legs out, twist. Bring the knees in. Stretch the legs out. A little faster now. Knees in. Stretch it out. Knees in. Stretch it out. Don't move that pelvis. In. Stretch it out. One more time each side. In. Stretch it out. One more time. In. Stretch it out. And bring it in. And lower. Take that bridge. Whew. You can even articulate your lower back a little bit here by just rocking your hips side to side. So keep your knees still. Just let the seat move side to side. Lower your seat down. Now bring your knees in, grab your shins or the back of your thighs, and just hold right here. You can let your knees open up and roll your hips side to side. Roll up to a seated position, and you're done. Thanks so much for joining me. I hope to see you again, and have a great day.